Beastnet podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the Beastnet.
We don't bite hard.
Hey everybody, welcome to Beastnet, and you've got me, Pretty Mike, and this week with me I have Jake Moore. Jake, how about you let everyone know who you are?
Hi, I am Jake Moore. I am one of the owners of War-X and builder slash logistics guy, event coordinator, and we're the ones that come up with the crazy obstacles and stuff like that, along with the rest of my family, friends, and owners.
Nice. So where is War-X? So everyone knows.
Yeah, War-X is in Jackson, Ohio, or just south of Jackson, Ohio, but that's the biggest town nearby. We're about an hour and a half south of Columbus, 2 hours east of Cincinnati, an hour north of Charleston, West Virginia, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but
sounds like it.
Jackson's the place.
Right on. Yeah, it's one of those. I've always said that if I was ever going to go to Ohio to do War-X is about the only reason. So, didn't I just see on Facebook like today that you guys were messing with like painting the medals?
Yeah, we're down here right now. This is one of our build weeks. We usually come down here about starting in February. We come down once a month. We stay here for a week at a time at the property. We all live about 3 hours away or more. So when we come down here, we like to stay. And we're taking the opportunity in the facility here to take care of some building and also like some metals and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you're giving them the camouflage treatment. So.
Yeah, that's this year's theme. We're gonna go with the camouflage metals. That's every year we try to do a theme. Last year was red, white, and blue. We kind of did a pattern with that, and yeah, this year's camo.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. So when is War-X?
War-X is June 29th and 30th. So the big race is on the 29th. That's the 10K obstacle course race. And then in the evening, afternoon slash on the same day, on Saturday, there's a 3K short course, also known as the Battle Challenge. And that's short course with AR-15 rifle range. And then in the evening that night when it gets dark, we have the fireworks show. Then the next morning we tie up the whole thing with a 5K trail run. It's supposed to kind of re-loosen up the legs and stuff, but it's not exactly just a little jaunt through the woods. So
yeah, it never really is. But
no, it never is. Yeah, everybody's a little bit sore after the race, the 10K, because it's a 10K-ish type race. Yeah. So it could be a little more, usually a little bit more, not less.
No. Yeah, that's usually with OCR. That's how it normally is. It's never actually like a 10K. It's 10K-ish.
Right. I mean, we do our best. We get close as much as we can, but it's hard to track the mileage and stuff when you're up and down hills and cliffs as well. So
yeah, and I've been on enough courses where it's one of those ones where they ran through it a couple times, tried to make it all correct on mileage, and then everyone else comes out and they're like, I've got 6 miles instead of 6.2, and you're like, whatever.
Exactly. Some people come back and they're like, hey, I did 8 miles. I'm like, well, I don't think it was quite 8. And some people said it was 6, 8, and I'm like, that's a lot of variance to someone's wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, you run into a lot, and I found this like with like the GPS watches and all this stuff, that depending on which one you're using, where you're at, the tree cover, everything else, it changes things. I remember doing one with a buddy. We were doing like a 30-mile run. I'm at 35 miles and he hasn't hit 30 yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
something's missing.
It's like something's wrong here.
Right.
So it's like we're out there to have fun. Most of us aren't out there to compete. I mean, even if it's more mileage, you're doing the same as the next guy. So
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's missing anything. I mean, unless somebody gets lost in the woods, but usually that's not a problem.
yeah, it happens. That's more. It makes
Yeah,
it more fun that way.
right.
So, so give us a quick kind of idea. What is War-X? Like when you go do the races, what are they like?
Okay, so I know you guys were on the OCR Buddy voting this year as well,
Hmm.
which is awesome. Congrats to you guys.
Thank you.
We were voted #1 event of the year, and for us, I think it's the difference that we do on our course. So War-X, obviously the terrain is very difficult. It's one of the biggest obstacles out here by itself, but we build everything as big as we possibly can, as fun as we can, and as most, you know, everybody. I think everybody in OCR, um, it gets into OCR for a little bit of a danger factor, as well as like I did that.
Yeah.
I did. It's nobody got into obstacle course racing to just kind of like run. They wanted to challenge themselves. They wanted the difficulty, and I think with War-X, with our ability to add in the live fire, explosions, smoke, flamethrowers, things like that, we just kind of add to the whole atmosphere, as well as building as big as we want to, as crazy as we want to. Nobody's telling us you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's the big thing about War-X. Nobody tells us you can't do that. We can do anything and absolutely everything we want to, and we try to. We listen to everybody when they come back from the race, like, hey, I love this. This is crazy. You guys should do this, and we absolutely try to incorporate that stuff.
Which is awesome. I mean, and I think that's it. It's kind of one of those things. I mean, you have to, I mean, in a sense, I think we talked about this last time. You have to step it up a little bit, you
Absolutely.
know, and I think that's it. We're all used to these races that we've been doing. And I mean, it's a lot of the bigger, bigger brands.
Sure.
It's a cookie cutter race. It's the same race, whether I'm doing it here in Houston or doing it in Seattle or doing it,
Sure.
in Florida. It's the same obstacles and the same stuff. But what I love about, like locals like you is you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
you got live fire on yours, you got explosions, you got all sorts of crazy things that nobody else is gonna have. And I think it puts you in a whole different mindset because
Mhm.
when you start hearing that live fire, whether you're ex-military or not, all of us, we know what live fire sounds like. You hear it, it changes something in your brain, like, oh, damn.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think there's a big rush too. I mean, we love we absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of hardcore racers. There's a lot of guys that come out here to absolutely just like, I'm going to crush this course as fast as I can. We love challenging them. As much as we love challenging them, we also love the fun seekers, the ones that come out here for a great time. They're with their friends, family, whatever. And, a lot of times we get great feedback because they can stop and we're like, hey, do you want to shoot this? Do you want to make something explode? Do you want to shoot the flamethrower? Do you want to carry this smoke bomb and toss it at your buddy at the worst possible moment? Go for it. You know,
Yes. Yes
that's
to all of it.
we have
Yeah.
fun no matter.
And I think that's the one thing that, some of us, for me, I've never been, even when I lost the weight and I was skinnier and I was, more athletic and, I'm trying to come back from a couple of things now. Um, Even then, I wanted to have fun. I missed the just roaming through the woods, climbing over obstacles with my buddies and having a blast.
Yeah,
You know, when
absolutely.
I when I tried doing the competitive, I'm like, this is boring.
It's work.
Yeah.
I mean, myself personally, I'd be out here for fun every time.
Hmm.
But I'm not an obstacle course racer. We build stuff based on what we hear and what we want, what people want. I mean, if they want harder, we'll make it harder. If they want it scarier, we'll make it scarier. Like I said, there's no limits with where we are, and nobody says you can't build that.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. That makes it fun for us because we have a test group that we'll challenge, we'll push things off of, and we'll reach out to them. We'll say, hey, what do you think of this? Is this too much? Is this too crazy? No, give it a shot. And then they'll come out here and say, yeah, you can't do that. And they reel us back in from time to time, but then, that's part of the fun.
And that is, 100% part of the fun. And I think that's what's great with you guys is you do have that opportunity to say, okay, let's try this.
Yep.
And then after you try, you're like, okay, maybe we need to step back a little bit. Maybe that was a little far.
Exactly. And I mean, the fact that it's here on the same property, we can adjust the course all over the place, but it changes every year because we want to be fresh. We don't want anybody to come here and say, oh, I've done this obstacle. I know what it's going to be like. So every time we change it up, even with the decagons, which you can kind of see it in the background behind me, they're different this year. We haven't told anybody what's different about them yet, but they're going to be a little bit different. And there's 3 of them mixed in with the other 3 that were original. And for a lot of people, it's the first time seeing that obstacle, which is cool and makes it different. But no, I mean, it's just pure fun every time. And I mean, I'm down here right now with about 10 other guys, and we're all good buddies. We have a good time. We work hard during the day, play hard at night. We'll go out for rides and talk about, where we could do stuff. But more games at night than it is during the day. We bust it pretty good during the day.
Yeah. But I mean, that's it. You got to have fun and do all that stuff too. I mean, that's one thing that I think, all work and no play, is no fun.
And that's the idea, right? With obstacle course racing as a whole, I mean, people work their butts off, year round. It's something you can do. And let's go out and play, have some fun, all that training that people do to prepare for these races. I mean, it's game day when they come out, and it's like, let's have a good time. Let's challenge each other. And we're all about that and just having fun and stuff. I think this year, I'll just throw this out there. It's going to be something fun. We're going to put like a special roving vehicle on the course this year that may be enticing to jump in and just ride along. And it may be called the Quitmobile. We're not really sure, but he's going to have snacks and beer and things like that. Maybe just trying to entice something fun. This is something that we do here because we're like, get somebody in there, pretend like it's going to be a ride to the next obstacle, and then, make fun of them as well. So why not?
See, I would be because I'm evil, and it sounds like you are too, that I'd be like, hey, we'll give you a ride to the next obstacle. Here's some candy, a soda, whatever. And then I take them back to the start.
Hey, you take them back to the start, or you get a loudspeaker that says, hey, got a quitter here.
Yeah. Whatever, take them back to the start, or just do something like where they're like, wait a minute, I thought we were going, oh, oops, I went the wrong direction. Sorry, out of gas. Good luck.
We're thinking alike there.
Yeah. So, yeah. See, now I've just got great ideas. I'm like, oh, I could have some fun.
All ideas, they go on whiteboards. We have like 10 whiteboards here, and an idea goes onto it. If it stays on the whiteboard for longer than a month or 2, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. See, that's cool. So it's June 29th, right?
Yep.
In Ohio.
Yep. June 29th, 30th. 30th, we usually end the day about anywhere between 11 and noon, but nobody's rushed out of here at any time. So
see, that's awesome too, that you have the property out there. And I think that's what makes it cool too, because I've done a couple other ones where they actually have the property, so they can, where I think a lot of the other races where they're there, for a weekend and that's it. They pretty much usually have like a week of setup, do the races, and then they have to take it all down. Right. Where it's March and you're already, said you started in February, so a month ago. So you've got 5 months to build and make changes to what you had from last year, in the year before, and to build on it. And I think it's pretty cool when you can do that, because then you can come up with and do some crazy ideas
Oh yeah.
and build some things that these other guys can't because they just don't have the time or the resources.
Oh, the time and I get it. I mean, to travel around and set up something, you have to be able to set it up fairly quickly. And I get that. I mean, there's no way around that part
Yeah.
of it. And also be able to tear it down where we don't have to tear anything down. And, is build as we can build it as big as our imagination goes. I mean, we've got something coming out this year's is what the plan is um, it's enormous. And I mean, something bigger than we've ever done before. It'll be over water, of course. It's going to be way up high, and we're going to probably need a crane, but we're not sure how we're doing it yet. We're just making parts for it right now. So
You've got me intrigued on that one. And that's, like I said, that's what's amazing about it. You can do stuff like that because you don't have to do that. And that's one thing I get all the time. I'll be talking to people that talk about like the bigger races and they're like, it's the same thing all over the thing. But yeah, but they have to think about this is going to be here today, but this entire setup now has to be 3 states over
yeah,
and set
that's
up for another race in 2 weeks.
and it's amazing that they're able to do that. To be honest, I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing the logistics behind something like that. So I mean, props to them, 100%.
And that's why I see a lot of them are metal now, where they used to be wood because the wood was harder to take down and then they would break.
Oh yeah, yeah. You would lose wood, I'm sure, right? And tons of materials just gone down the drain. So
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of people don't realize they don't think about the logistic side of, with the wood and everything else. Every time they took it down and put it back up, they're damaging the wood and it's gonna be harder to put together next time. So the metal is in a lot of ways lighter,
yes,
easier to deal with, and I can unscrew it, screw it back together, and keep doing it over and over again. And usually there's clamps. There's so many things that make the metal a lot, easier to put up and down.
oh,
And it's like,
absolutely,
and when the companies are doing that, they have to think about that. How can I save time and money by, and the lighter it is, the less it's going to cost me to transport it,
yep,
everything else. But then when you have, like I said, a fixed facility, you don't have to worry about that because once it
right,
goes up, you might have to make some adjustments for next year to make it a little bit more difficult and to trick people. That's it.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. So, like you said, you guys were the number one small brand, right? Or how did that? What was
Um,
the category? I always forget the categories that OCR Buddy does. I should
well, we
know
got
I'm an ambassador, but
yeah, no, that's all right. We got two categories. We ended up with the best small race series,
Mhm.
and we actually got the number one event of the year. Um, pitting us against Tough Mudder and World Championships. We were pretty excited about that. I think some people were surprised, but it really was a huge boost for us and just more, added fuel to the fire for us. So we're excited. We just know that like when people come out, we definitely listen to them when they're saying, "Hey, we love this race. We love what you guys do. It feels different. Something's different here." We want to continue that. We don't ever want to be too big where we don't they don't that's not the same answer that we get when we ask them how the race went. So
yeah, and that's what's awesome is I mean, listening to the participants, which you would think would be like one of those like, well, duh,
that's
but
obvious, right?
so many companies don't because they
I
just get so, I mean, a lot of times they get so big, but it's also too that they just don't. It's like we mentioned, people miss the logistics.
The logistics is something that's probably an insurmountable obstacle in itself that not too much can shift change without a severe impact on the
Yeah.
business itself. So for us, to be honest, I mean, we are nobody here came in to do this for money at all. To be honest, we are here 100% to spend time with each other. I mean, I'm down here working with my dad and my brother, and my brother-in-law. Another one's showing up tomorrow. My best friend growing up, and then 4 other guys that are friends of theirs. So we're down here to spend time together build crazy things that we can all laugh about and say, this is going to be nuts. Have a couple guys test it and give us the okay that it's all right to do. And then awesome. We built something fun. We had a great time. And there's nobody here that's saying, you know, what am I getting out of this weekend other than the time that we get to spend together? So we just have so much fun doing that. And then the big payday is race day when the racers come across the line and they're just like, this is insane. You guys are awesome. And we're like, that's all we wanted to hear.
Yeah. And that sounds amazing. And it's the War-X is 1 weekend a year, right?
Yep. War-X is the War-X Trilogy obstacle course race is 1 time a year. And we look into doing other events here at the property itself, but the obstacle course race is once.
So June 29th and 30th. So for all your listeners, you need to get out there. Get to Ohio.
Absolutely. Come on out.
Get to Ohio.
We're expanding parking as we speak. Literally cutting trees and moving land.
Wow. So have you noticed since the OCR Buddy Awards, have you noticed an uptick in registrations or anything? Or is it?
Yeah, we've noticed that, and just the overall engagement on social media been excellent. So yeah, we're excited about that. I mean, to me, getting voted number 1 was just like, well, we have to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened in 2023. This is 2024. Let's do it again. So that's our goal.
Well, and it's just amazing too. I mean, for a smaller race, you know, that's a 1 weekend. That's it. You beat out everybody. I mean, world's toughest, you know, OCR World Championships, you know, all of those, and you won and you beat them out, which is amazing. Which should tell anybody that this is a great weekend.
It's a blast. And that's why it is a weekend. I mean, you know, when you're talking about where you guys located, Jackson, Ohio, no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
You know, an hour and a half south of this and that and east of this. I mean, bottom line is we're in the middle of nowhere. Getting here, we understand that getting here for a racer is a process and expensive in itself.
Yeah.
So to have people come out here and do a 7-mile, 6 to 8 mile course and travel that distance to do that, we understand. We said, you know what? We have to offer more. This needs to be a total destination weekend to say, I'm going to spend the amount of money it takes to get there for the travel time, you know, hotel or camping or whatever it is. And it needs to be worth it. So let's why we made it a trilogy weekend, because it is a long way for anybody to get there. And we absolutely understand what it takes to actually just get here, let alone just the race fee.
Yeah. And then, I mean, which is amazing. I mean, that's one thing that, you know, me and I talk to Megan, the OCR trainer, all the time, record episodes with her. And one of the big things we talked about is we mentioned constantly race local. And we've told people, but what we mean by that isn't like, I live in Houston, I'm just going to race the races around me. No. We mean race the local races. Go to Ohio, go to War-X, you know, go to these other states and race the smaller local races, because they're amazing. And you're going to see things you'll never see again.
Oh, they are. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's funny that you said that, because we have a second, this year was the second time we've had California, Canada, Alabama, all the way down. We've had Venezuelan here before. And I mean, every state has been represented at some point. So yeah, you're right. The race local thing doesn't mean race local right where you're at. I mean, go to those races that are in the towns that aren't the big names, because they are going to offer something different. And I mean, that's what we love about it.
Yeah, some of the funnest obstacles I've seen is some random, you know, local smaller race brand that had some amazing obstacle I'd never seen before, and I'm like, this is cool.
Right.
You know,
yeah, because it's unregulated, basically. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite ones that I've seen, and I was never able to hit it. It was monkey bars, but the monkey bars were like 10 or 11 feet off the ground with water below you, and you had to use a trampoline to bounce to them. And I just could not get the bounce. And pretty much there's a great, I think Dawn has a picture or a video of it where I'm like flying and my fingers are like that far below the monkey bars and I just go straight into the water. But,
Oh,
you know, and it's one of those ones that seems like a dumb obstacle, but it was a blast, you know,
yeah,
because it was something I'd never seen before. And I'm like, oh,
right. Absolutely.
right on. Was there anything else you want to say to the listeners?
I mean, I feel like we've really touched on a handful of things. I know that, you know, anybody that listens or watches this, and I just, you know, we always want you guys to know that we are here for fun. That is the bottom line. We are here for fun and to challenge you in every possible way that we can. We love hearing that we're an extremely hard race. We love hearing that we're one of the most fun races. And those things will never change for us. I mean, that is why we are here. We're 100% here for Operation Enduring Warrior and support of their mission with disabled vets. And the whole course is built around fun and being challenging.
Yeah, which is awesome. That is amazing. All right. Well, it's been great talking to you, and we'll put you know, the links on the you know, everything for people to find you, and I'm gonna check my shows and see if I can get out to Ohio in June. So
Love to have you, man.
all right, perfect.
We know the Four Hearts and Scars will be out with us.
Yeah, I know they're gonna be there. I'm trying to figure out because I have an event I do every year in Washington, and it's usually right around that time in June.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I've already like paid for it. So it's a team event and it was like $500. So, so I got to figure out which weekend that is. I'm hoping it's the weekend before because then I can go to Washington and then head over to Ohio on my way back. So,
No, I really appreciate it and enjoy talking to you too.
all right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one, man.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Beastnet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.